My name is Gloria. I am 33 years old. 2 years ago, I married my husband Andy. We lived together in an apartment, sharing the household chores. There was a time when I believed we could have happy married life. But after we got married, the ideal life was not there. I knew that Andy and I would have different values. I thought that we would gradually adjust to each other's values. But the problem was not there, but my mother-in-law. It happened in the first month of our marriage. I was going to work in the morning as usual. Suddenly, my mother-in-law came to our house and said to me, What are you doing this early in the morning? Are you going out somewhere, Gloria? When I answered that I was going to work, my mother-in-law rolled her eyes in surprise. You are married, aren't you? You are Andy's wife now. What are you thinking? Going to work? She suddenly yelled at me, and instead of helping me, my husband said, I'm gonna be late for work. See ya. He left me like that. I didn't know what to do, but I told my mother-in-law, I'm going to be late for work too, so... That's when my mother-in-law changed. Going to work? Are you serious? You are a wife now. Do your duty as a wife. You're supposed to trust your husband and leave the work to him. My mother-in-law kept interrupting me at the door. I tried to get out of her way. I'm sorry, but I have to go. Please, use the key and put it in the mailbox when you leave. With that, I forced my mother-in-law to take the key and went to work. However, I made the mistake of letting my mother-in-law stay at home that day. When I came home after work, my mother-in-law was still there. As soon as I entered the room, she said to me, Sit down, right there. She yelled at me with a stern look in her eyes, and I, startled by the force of her words, fearfully obeyed her. Then my mother-in-law droned on and on about what a wife should be like. It was all the same old values. When Andy came home, in the middle of the lecture, she made him sit down as well. You are a husband, so show some dignity. If your wife does whatever she wants, your family will fall apart. Andy apologized repeatedly to his mother. I couldn't understand why Andy was so weak against his mother. Times have changed, and my mother-in-law's values are hers alone. It's none of our business. And yet, she came in early in the morning and caused trouble for us. Moreover, she wants me to quit my job. No matter how you look at it, there was no point in obeying my mother-in-law's words. And yet, I felt very uncomfortable, would do as he was told. I complained to him after my mother-in-law left. Why are you always listening to your mother? She's just pushing her ideal family on us. It's not right to be forced like this. It's absurd. But Andy seemed to have a weakness for his mother all his life. I'm sorry, but I can't rebel if she insists. Can't you do as Mom says? Just this once? My husband asked me such a thing. That's impossible. You know how important my job is, don't you? The next time your mother comes over, I want to let her in the house. No, you can't do that. Mom will get angry, and she'll say it's the husband's fault for not being able to control his wife. Andy's words made me angry again. But it's the truth, isn't it? We are in this mess because you never stand up to your mother. Can you at least talk to your father about it? and make your mother stop doing whatever she wants. But Mom doesn't listen to Dad either, so... See? Don't you see that your mother is full of contradictions? She said that if a wife does whatever she wants, the family will fall apart. She's the one who is destroying the family. When I said that, my husband got upset. Don't speak badly about my mom. He glared at me, which was rare. If you can afford to have that kind of attitude, I hope you'll show some strength in front of your mother too. But it's my fault that I chose Andy as my husband. And I still love him after all. I decided to do my best to get along with my mother-in-law from now on. To begin with, all of my previous boyfriends have been the bossy type. To be honest, I had a lot of bad experiences with them. So I thought that Andy, who is quiet and gentle at heart, would make me happy. In reality, he was too reserved and unreliable, which was a disadvantage. I decided to believe that I could change the situation if it was up to me. Since then, I try to do my housework and job perfectly. Still, sometimes my mother-in-law would come over and complain to me. Aren't you neglecting the housework because you're both working? When she said that, I asked her to take a look at every inch of the house. What do you think? I'm doing a good job with the housework, aren't I? Is there any part of the house that I have to fulfill my responsibilities anymore? When I said that, my mother-in-law made a frustrated face and refuted me. Isn't Andy helping you, is he? My mother-in-law glares at Andy, saying that. Andy turned pale and roughly shook his head sideways. He seems never lied to his mother. So, my mother-in-law believes 100% of Andy's statements. As a matter of fact, I make Andy do the housework. It's our secret that I make him lie in front of his mother. And my mother-in-law doesn't seem to notice at all. But at first, my husband couldn't do any housework at all. So I taught him how to do housework myself. As she puts on her shoes, my mother-in-law said in frustration, Even if it's good now, it doesn't mean this is gonna last. I'm gonna get proof. I swear to God. Well. You're such a persistent person. I was going to let us continue in this style, but my mother-in-law still comes at random times each week, and she's still a pain in the butt. Hey, this corner is too dusty. See? I knew it. You were not doing enough housework because you were working. Quit the job and take care of the house. This kind of life went on for 2 years. To be honest, I was getting tired of this marriage. It's stressful just to have her come over every once in a while to check on the housework. And then she checks the fridge and even the wardrobe. I wonder how much she can drive people crazy. That day, my mother-in-law came over as usual and started rummaging through the fridge. What? You don't have anything in here. You can't even cook a decent meal for Andy. Quit the job already. That's when Andy came home with a big shopping bag in both hands. What a bad timing. My mother-in-law was shocked to see him and started to make a big fuss. My God, Gloria! What were you thinking to make a husband help with the housework? Oh well, with all due respect, this kind of thing is the norm nowadays. Families with old-fashioned ideas like you are rather decreasing. When I said that, my mother-in-law's face turned red and she started yelling at me. You do whatever you want and mess up with everything. Disgusting. And you too, Andy. Why do you let her do this? Man up! Andy's face is turning pale. He puts the shopping bags on the floor, rolls his shoulders, and remains silent. He really is a pathetic guy, I thought to myself. Then I spoke back to my mother-in-law in a strong tone of voice. I've been thinking about this for a long time, but isn't this impolite? Andy and I are on equal footing as husband and wife. Both of us treat each other with respect. We have decided not to put the burden on either side. And I will continue to work, even if we have children. At that time, I will ask Andy to participate in raising our child. We are our own family, separate from your family. So, I don't want you to interfere too much. Then my mother-in-law shook her head and said, I'm done with this house. Then she left. Andy apologized to me with a frightened attitude. I'm sorry, I didn't say anything back. You don't need to apologize. I've accepted that you were like that long ago. Don't worry about your mother. Just be yourself as you are. And I love you. Andy nodded, with tears in his eyes when I said that. Since then, I haven't had any contact with my mother-in-law, and she doesn't come to the house suddenly anymore. One day, I got sick and took a day off from work. I decided to go to the hospital, just in case to check something. I took a pregnancy test, and I got a positive result. When I went to the OBGYN for the proper test, at 5 weeks pregnant, we found out that we were having twins. I was the first to break the news to Andy. He was overjoyed. We called each other's parents, and everyone congratulated us. My mother-in-law came to our house for the first time in a long time, and with a smile I had never seen before, she said to me, Congratulations, Gloria. From now on, I will support you in any way I can. Please don't hesitate to ask me. For the first time, my mother-in-law was smiling at me. I could honestly say my thanks to her. Then the morning sickness got worse. With twins, I took maternity leave early. I was to return to work a year after the birth. In the meantime, I did the housework as much as I could. Andy, my parents, and sometimes my in-laws came to the house to help me out. We found out that both our children were girls. My mother-in-law immediately bought baby items, even though the due date had not yet come. I didn't want her to give me toys that a 5-year-old would use so early. But I smiled and thanked my mother-in-law for her kindness. She seemed to be in a good mood. Just as I was enjoying such a peaceful moment, my mother-in-law said to me out of the blue, So, now, Andy can finally have a decent family. Huh? What did you say? I was bothered by my mother-in-law's words and asked back, Well, what do you mean by that? I'm saying, you are going to be a housewife, right? I mean, finally. Andy might have a hard time because it's a twin, but I guess he will be even motivated to work harder at his job. You will support Andy and to be a good mother to the kids. That's what a decent family is. My mother-in-law's words disgusted me. I sighed and wondered if I would have to continue to fight with her for the rest of my life. Then I told her the truth with a blank expression on my face. I'm going back to work after my maternity leave. What? You are not lying to surprise me, are you? No, I'm not. Also, after I return to work, Andy is gonna quit his job. It's been decided that Andy will become a full-time stay-at-home father. Huh? What nonsense are you talking about? You are a mother, and you don't want to raise your children? Well, my income is higher than Andy's. Of course, I'll support him while I work. We both thought it would be better for our children. Then my mother-in-law began to tremble. She turned her face to me with anger, as I'd never seen before. Impossible. That's unforgivable. I didn't raise Andy to be unhappy. Divorce. I will make him divorce you for sure. My mother-in-law said so and ran out of the apartment as if she was running away. When Andy came home from work, he had a grim look on his face. Mom was so annoying. She called me while I was at work. She said it was wrong what we decided. I don't know what she'll do. She might do something crazy. Gloria, why don't you go back to your parents' house for a while and have the twins there? That's what my husband suggested. It's rare for Andy to suggest something. Even when he proposed to me, he showed me the engagement ring while trembling and couldn't even say, "Will you marry me?" I was glad of his kindness and courage. Well, I'll take your words for it and do so. I told my parents about the situation, and I was going to have the babies in my hometown. While I was there, I called Andy every day. I remembered the time when we were dating. Back then, we didn't see each other very often, so we used to call each other like this. My mother-in-law was still furious and even brought divorce papers. Of course, Andy assured her that he would never divorce me. And he even made me another suggestion. I was able to spend my day with peace of mind. It was so unimaginably painful. But Andy held my hand and cheered me up the whole time. I gave birth to our baby girls. Andy stayed at my parents' house until things settled. After a while, he returned to the apartment on his own. Then, I received a phone call from my mother-in-law. Hello, Gloria? Only Andy came back and didn't say anything about you. You're not going to come back here, are you? For some reason, my mother-in-law is at our apartment. I am coming home tomorrow with the babies. No, don't come back. I don't want to see your face. You and Andy are getting a divorce anyway. Why don't you stay there with your parents? Andy went there to talk about divorce, right? My mother-in-law said that in an excited tone. So I chuckled and said, Please, don't worry. But I don't think Andy will see you anymore. When I said that, my mother-in-law replied after a short pause. What? What are you talking about? So, haven't you heard from Andy? It means that you and Andy are no longer mother and son. Andy went back to the apartment first to pack. We're moving out tomorrow. Have you seen any cardboard boxes for moving? No, I haven't seen anything like that. The room looks clean, but that's because Andy worked so hard to clean it. Then I faintly heard Andy's voice from the other end of the phone. It was as if the call was put on speaker, and Andy's voice became clear. Sorry, Gloria. I didn't expect Mom to call you. It's okay. Don't worry about it. What about the packing? Yeah, almost done. I thought it would be troublesome if Mom came and made a fuss. So I hid the boxes in the closet. Wow, that's great. I'm sorry I made you do all that. As we were saying that, my mother-in-law started yelling. What the hell are you talking about? Andy, don't tell me you were moving? And you were cutting tie with me? No. I was about to tell her the truth when... No, you shut up, Mom. I've had enough. All you do is impose your own rules on us. You don't know how much trouble you are causing us. I'm sick of it. That's why we've decided to cut ties with you. And when did you even make a duplicate key? Without our permission? Give it to me so I can return them to the management company. Andy said that to his mother once and for all. What? Andy? You're divorcing Gloria, aren't you? Why are you saying that to me? Divorce? I never said I'm divorcing Gloria. Gloria earns more than me. Didn't she told you before? If Gloria became a housewife, we can't have a decent family. The girls would have to put up with a lot. But it's just one woman's income. Gloria's father and brother may indeed be running a company, but they have nothing to do with her, right? Then I opened my mouth. You know, I didn't tell you because I thought you would make a big fuss if I did. I work for my brother's company. He's going to start another company soon, and I am supposed to take over his company then. Huh? You mean a woman will be the president? Yes, president. But for now, I have other members supporting the company. I'll be back after maternity leave. I think we've talked about this before, you know? Yes. I had told her about this, but it was during our wedding greeting, and she may have forgotten. My mother-in-law seemed to have become unable to answer anything and continued to be silent for a long time. Then Andy said, Oh, by the way, Barry works for Gloria's brother's company. If you have that kind of attitude, what will happen to Barry? Barry is Andy's second brother, and he's a sales manager at my brother's company. The world is a small place, and I met Barry at the wedding and found out he was Andy's brother. Then my mother-in-law said with a tremor in her voice, Oh my God! I'm sorry! I didn't know! I swear! So please, don't fire Barry. He's having a hard time with 3 kids right now. So please. I almost laughed. No, I can't fire an employee that easily. Just because Andy threatened to. But really, please, don't meddle in our family anymore. Well, we're cutting ties with you. So, it doesn't matter anymore, huh? My mother-in-law was still ranting. But Andy seemed to have forcibly hung up the phone. The next day, my parents dropped me off at my new house with the twins. The movers had already finished moving the furniture and boxes. Andy unpacked, and my parents helped out everything away. After a while, my father-in-law came to our house. After Andy cut off my mother-in-law, my father-in-law decided to give up on her too. My mother-in-law's imposition of her old values was not only on Andy, but also on my father-in-law and Andy's 2 brothers. It seemed that the whole family was affected as much as we were. This time, Andy, who was the quietest and most obedient to my mother-in-law, rebelled against her, and the sons declared their isolation to her one after another. My father-in-law also left the house and is now preparing for divorce with a lawyer. My mother-in-law has been abandoned by all the family members. Andy quit his job and has been doing his best to take care of the twins. I am also doing my best every day with what I can. After all, when I think about our children's tuition and other future expenses, it is better for me to work than for Andy to work. No matter what anyone says, I will respect the policy that Andy and I decided on as a couple. We will continue to build a happy family of our own. Thank you for watching to the end. Please subscribe to our channel if you like. See you in the next video.